Paranormal Punches is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts.
Hey y'all, this is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Dave.
No Nash.
Nope.
Nash has a lot of construction work going on in his house, and he just couldn't break away. Even though a little birdie told us that he was out drinking yesterday. Nash, had you done the work yesterday, you could have made today. But it's okay, everybody. I brought in Nash's nemesis. He holds records in weightlifting. I think he could actually pick up more than Nash. He also is a podcaster. He also distills delicious spirits like your gin, your vodka, your rum. Everybody, welcome Ryan Mock to the show.
Hi, everybody. I feel like Dr. Nick.
Some of what I said was true. You distill spirits for Pine Creek Spirits. Did you deadlift more than Nash? I can't remember at the event.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I've always lifted more than Nash. Come on.
That's why I said his nemesis.
Mega Nash.
Yeah.
Right.
We're recording from the clubhouse. Even though it's 90-some degrees in Pennsylvania,
Yep.
I still felt like let's sit out in the hot garage with no air conditioning and record this. So
Yep.
I'm sweating. It's a wonderful time. This episode, we are going to discuss haunted movie sets. Now, this was a topic from Old Stuff Yellow Bird on Instagram.
Yep.
So, hey, man, thanks for the idea, and we're going to discuss it. And so that means there's a couple different movies we're going to talk about. Now, I want to read you something I got from a listener. It's from Chad. Did I miss something? Why aren't y'all doing full episodes? Don't get me wrong. I like the bonus episodes and all. I just missed the full-length episodes about a topic. Well, Chad, we're back. We were on vacation.
Yep.
So I filled our regular time slots with some bonus episodes just so everybody still had something to listen to while Lish and I were off at Lake George in New York. We even tried to go to Whitehall.
Yeah.
So Bear Road where Bigfoot was spotted. And it did not go well.
No.
But not for Bigfoot reasons, right?
No. For Mark driving a car getting angry reasons. It was just from Lake George was about an hour away, but the traffic was insane. There was tons of trucks on the road, so we couldn't get up to like a good running speed.
Right.
And then when we get to Whitehall, it was a really weird vibe, like driving into a weird movie set from like some teen horror movie where you're going through town and all the locals are just staring at you, and you're like, maybe we should get out of here.
Right.
So that was weird.
And there's no gas station.
Right.
And then the GPS, I didn't get a chance to update it before we left. I was like, no big deal. So the GPS kept taking us to this dead end. Like we could not get to a bare road.
Yeah.
And every time we hit the dead end, it just started to feel more weird and creepy. Like this voyage is doomed. We better get out of here.
Right. So we just went back.
Every time you hit the dead end, did your cell signal cut out?
The headlights on the car blink. Yeah.
And it turns
you
out
could have been in a horror movie. You just
We
did
just didn't
things
know
right,
it.
You know.
yeah. I mean, we were so close to the Bigfoot statue, we just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And then on the way home, or back to, I wish it was home. On the way back to the lake, this car from Vermont, I forget what kind of make it was, white car, Vermont license plates, you suck at driving. They must have been on their phone.
Or there was something else going on.
Well, they kept drifting so far over into the berm. I was like several times like, they're going to hit the guardrail. But I told her, I was like, I am so fed up. I just want to get back to the lake and start drinking. I'm just going to go around them if they crash. I'll slow down, make sure they're okay. But I'm not.
Right.
Everything about this sounds like you are 1 degree away from having the best paranormal vacation on the planet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was crazy. The driving, I was like, are they drunk? You know, what is going on? It was, fortunately, they eventually turned and we got back to the lake. And then I drank my fair share of beer to knock the anxiety level back down. Now, there's more to tell, but I won't keep chatting about our vacation because I know some people like us to get to the topic right away.
Right.
But we did find a haunted location to explore. It's the Fort William Henry.
Yes.
Up in, Lake George.
It was in, the village of Lake George.
So we'll have more reports on our little exploration of that place.
Yeah.
All right. So, movie sets that were haunted. Mm-hmm. How about, Lish, we're always used to you getting things rolling. Show us how to discuss this topic.
Okay. So, as you have said, there have been numerous movie sets and productions that have been cursed throughout the years, with actors dying either before the film concludes or shortly after. Or, there were strange things that were happening during filming. There's also been a lot of reports of strange and unexplainable paranormal instances happening on the sets. So we're going to go through some that are actually haunted, some that are cursed. So I'll start with, I don't know if the set was actually haunted, but one of the persons there, they might have actually been having some kind of haunted thing. So on
some kind of haunted thing?
Yes, some sort of haunted thing.
Term.
Yeah, for sure. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Now, the star, Jennifer Carpenter, she said that there wasn't a whole lot of paranormal stuff that was actually happening on the set. But when she would go home, she would have her radio, it would just turn on all by itself. The only time it really scared her was it was really loud, and Pearl Jam's Alive started playing at that point. So she got a little freaked out on that. So I don't know if it was a haunted set per se, but I think it might have maybe been attracted to her.
Yeah, attach itself to her.
Yeah.
She really hated Pearl Jam.
So I'm going to move on to the Innkeepers. That came out in 2011. So it was filmed at the Yankee Peddler Inn in Connecticut, which was also the inspiration for the film. Now, the director, Ty West, he stayed there during a previous movie, and it was haunted at that point. So he became kind of inspired by it. He's also a skeptic. So he thought this might be interesting to do. The cast also stayed on the premises while they were filming there. Now, according to Ty West, he saw doors open and close by themselves. And he even said that the bathroom door slammed against the wall in the middle of the night. He said the TV would turn on and off, and the lights would constantly burn out in his room. The phone would ring, and when he would answer it, nobody was on the other side.
On the other side?
On the other line of the phone.
There's two lines?
Okay. You know what? Do you just want to go? All right. Everyone, also, I'm going to finish with this. Everyone on the crew had very vivid dreams throughout the night. Ty West, he said the same thing happened to him. He would wake up at 3 in the morning and sit straight up. Sarah Paxton, who is one of the actors, she would wake up in the middle of the night thinking that someone was in the room with her. So weird stuff that was happening on set. And of course, they were actually filming at the haunted place that this was inspired by. So I don't know.
Do you know how old that place is? Like, is it Revolutionary War time?
You know what? I didn't actually get that information, but I imagine it's been around for a bit. So.
Okay.
So I don't know. Does anybody else want to go?
Now I was just going to say, you may remember me from what was it, episode 5?
Oh,
I was on
yeah.
there for one of the early episodes we talked about Funk Brewing, the building that it's in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad that was part of my introduction that I completely deleted out of my brain.
Well, I thought about saying it, but I was like, I don't know why I blanked. I've been on a podcast many times. I don't know what happened there. I just Dr. Nicked it up and went about my business. But some of those things that they were talking about, like the burnout lights, like doors slamming, that's all the stuff, like similar stuff that happened. I almost swore. I'm going to keep it clean. This is the episode on a podcast. I'm going to keep it clean. That's like a lot of that similar stuff happened at Funk early on, which recently nothing has happened. So I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
So it calmed down.
That may have been me. I yelled at the ghosts.
Oh.
There's probably people out there that probably are going, that's the dumbest thing to do.
Yeah.
But they went away. Like, they quit messing with
You
me.
scared them.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Attached to you and followed you home.
It's funny you mention that because that's why I got angry and I yelled at them. It was just a weird period, and I don't know if it was just it could have been just stress from working a lot or whatever, but I was going home and I'd get weird feelings at work, and then I'd go home and have a weird vibe. And in my head, I was like, I have a little kid, and I'm like, I don't want some horror movie scene happening in his bedroom where I can't see it and I can't help. So I was just like weirded out by this whole vibe, and I went in to work one time and had a few beers on like a Friday, and I was on my way out, and I went downstairs where like most of the stuff happened, and I just kind of lost it for like 5 minutes. Like saying like, this is your home, you stay here, I don't need you, don't you dare be following me. It was like I said, there's probably people out there freaking out saying that's the dumbest thing you could do. But ever since that day, like they haven't, like barely anything has happened that I personally noticed, and like at home I haven't felt that way since. So I have no idea if it worked or they're plotting their revenge.
Right.
You know, two things on that. Number one, that was episode 4 you were on. I think we called it something like Ghost in the Funk. But that's because we hit episode 4 and like early on, like right away, Dave just couldn't make it. I'm like, but it's only episode 4. What do you mean you can't make it? So fortunately, Ryan stepped up. Now, we did a investigation at Funk.
Yep.
Yeah.
With some friends. So the downside is like it was kind of cool to go down there and try to get some EVPs and things, and you just scared the shit out of them.
Right.
So
apparently.
that
it was a little while before that.
so it's no longer haunted.
I assume they didn't get any evidence because they never contacted you again.
Yeah, Geigertown Paranormal. No, but you know,
Right.
life happened, COVID happened, so
Yeah.
maybe
Now-
maybe they'll get a chance to check it out.
Do you think that it's still haunted? Is they just are leaving you alone?
I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where I just personally, the only time anything ever really happened was I was sitting with Mark at the bar in the back, and it was just us. It was like a Tuesday, we were closed, and it was kind of funny because after you're around it for a while, like I didn't mind it anymore. It was just like I just got that weird vibe at home, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. It was messing with me, so I did what I did, and then like it was like 6 months to a year later, me and Mark are sitting at the back bar having a beer on a Tuesday when we were closed, and I was just kind of laughing. I was like, you know, I kind of miss it a little bit.
Aww.
And at that exact moment, a toilet in the bathroom that's adjacent, you can hear it flush through the wall. Flush, no one else is in the building.
Yeah,
It
no
just
one else was in the
Wow.
building.
So I think they're just there. They're like, this guy's a jerk.
Yeah, they're still there. They're just very scared of you. I wonder how fun it is when you're not around. Maybe they're, scaring people.
Yeah, because
haunting
I'm
the
not
place.
there like a lot of nights anymore. My job kind of changed, so yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, to tie that back in, we were going to film a short film at Funk. So tying that back into movie making.
I know I just kind of went off there. Sorry.
It's okay. You're the special guest. And you've listened to the show. You know darn well that's what Nash would do.
just doing my
Right.
best.
Right.
The only difference is you didn't bring up all kinds of food. Yeah.
Food and innuendo.
I have a movie to talk about.
Ooh.
It's the Possession. It's from 2012. Now this movie stars the guy who plays Negan on The Walking Dead. He also played John Winchester on Supernatural. That's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And Lish, you always like to remind me that he was also Danny on Grey's Anatomy.
Ah, Denny.
But this movie's about the Dybbuk Box, which also we briefly mentioned it because a listener suggested it as a topic. So I am going to discuss the Dybbuk Box a little bit, but not too much because I want to save it for its own episode. But the movie, so Jeffrey Dean, I think his character's Clyde, he's at this antique sale and he sees this box and his daughter was kind of digging it, so he buys it. And, obviously it has an evil spirit in it that possesses the girl. So also made me think, like, maybe when you go to yard sales.
Right.
There's a reason it's free. Or nickel.
Right.
Now, the movie is kind of inspired by true events. So the guy who the guy who had the Dybbuk box, he bought it at like not a yard sale, but I think someone died, so they were selling some stuff, an estate sale.
Okay.
And he thought the box was really cool. He has a furniture business, so he thought, I could clean that up. I could turn it into like something like whatever he's going to do with the piece of furniture. And he bought it, and he said, because he put this it's all on the line. I think it's like dybbukbox.com, his whole story. But this was all the story from his eBay listing. But anyway, he bought it, mentioned something to the family. They were like, hey, it's yours. Get it out of here. And then they didn't want it back. He took it back to a shop, opened it, and he found some items inside. And he did, again, contact them like, hey, there was some stuff inside this. I don't know if you want it. They're like, no. You bought the box and everything inside. But it had like two 1920s pennies, a lock of hair tied up, and a couple other items that I'm sure I'll find in my notes.
It almost sounds like a Ring situation with extra steps.
Right.
It's yours now. You have to watch it, and then you have to tape
Right.
it.
Well, it just gets weirder and weirder. But he listed this box on eBay, and he told a whole story about how he took it back to his shop because he was going to clean it up, but he had to leave. And then he got a frantic call from his assistant that something was in the shop just breaking things. She was scared. The gate was locked. She's like, I don't know how anybody could get in there. He races back, and there's no one there. But I think his assistant quit. I could be wrong on that. Mm-hmm. But he didn't think much of it. He cleaned it up, gave it to his mom, who then had a stroke.
Oh, my gosh.
And she couldn't talk right away, and she was saying something about, she was trying to write something to him, but in it she wrote, hate gift.
Oh.
No, she was just a jerk. She just had nothing to do with the box. Your gift was terrible.
But some other strange thing happened. But he ended up, and we'll go in more details when we do a whole episode about the Dybbuk box. Mm-hmm. But he listed this thing on eBay, sold for $140 to some dude. I think I have it here in my notes of who it was. Guy's name was Nietzsche. He was a student. This guy put it back on eBay and flipped it and sold for $280.
Wow.
I know, it doesn't sound real, right? It sounds like a movie.
Right, yeah.
So this guy, he flipped it to this guy who eventually, here, let me find his name in my notes here. Give me 1 second. Too many notes. To Jason Haxton. Now, this guy, he bought it. He thought it'd be really cool for his magic friend, his magician friend.
Ooh.
And his magician friend was
I
like,
don't know why it just sounded so funny the way you said that.
his
Like,
magic friend. And who just refused it. No, I don't want it. But so I guess the Dybbuk is a restless, malicious spirit with the ability to, haunt people, possess people. And I guess it was supposedly that's what's trapped in this box. So this Jason Haxton, he ended up burying it in like a military chest in his yard to keep it safe. Because I think some strange things happened to him. Again, we'll go into that on a full episode.
Right.
Anyway, so all that inspired him to make this movie, basically, obviously, where he buys it at a yard sale. Now, on set is where things get weird. Now, Jeffrey Dean, I can call him that, we're bros. He's kind of a skeptic when it comes to the paranormal. But some of the things on set, he just couldn't explain. And these would always be stuff happening while they're filming key scenes. Light bulbs would just explode. And even the director said he's never seen light bulbs that actually weren't on, neon bulbs, or whatever they were, that would just explode for no reason.
Wow.
Obviously, maybe when they're plugged in, it could happen. But
Right.
sometimes they just explode. They're not even on.
Wow.
And then they're trying to film, and Jeffrey Dean talked about these cold rush of air that would just shoot through on set. So it was, starting to make everybody just a little creeped out. And one of the creepiest things they talk about is they put all the props in storage, and they had to do some pickup shots, some second shots, whatever they're called. The thing burnt to the ground.
Oh, my
now,
God.
when investigated, they could find no signs of arson, no signs of electrical issues that could have caused the fire. It just burnt to the ground. Now, the guy who did own the Dybbuk box, that had it buried, he asked the producer, Sam Raimi, like, hey, do you guys want to use the real Dybbuk box? And they all said, no, we do not want it.
Oh, my God.
We do not want the box. Now, I thought I had a quote here from JDM. Oh, well. I can't find it at the moment. I am very skeptical, but not only would I not want the box around to tempt fate, but there were enough weird things going on around our set that I've never seen happen on sets before. So I don't know if that means he now is a believer.
Right.
But he is a little less skeptical.
Right.
So, yeah, and I wouldn't want the Dybbuk box either. Now, can anybody, I'm sure everybody out there will know this, but can you guess who owns the Dybbuk box now?
Oh, Lord.
100%. It's the Zach Bagans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for the win.
Of course. Yeah, he has it. Probably has his museum. I think they had a whole show on Sci-Fi or whatever network where he, that Haxton guy gave Zach
Oh
the
my
box. Made a big
gosh.
production.
Of course he owns
Well, he
it.
just has a whole warehouse full of haunted stuff. You'd think you wouldn't even be able to walk into that wherever he stores all this
Right?
stuff because he bought that
Yeah.
house. He bought that one haunted house, right? And did he
The
disassemble
Demon House
it?
in Indianapolis,
or
yeah.
did he burn it or what? I forget what he
In
did with
Indiana,
it.
I mean.
He tore it down.
Yeah, he had it leveled, but he kept some of the staircase and dirt.
And dirt.
And I'm sure he made a little display
Right,
at the museum.
Yeah.
You're right. You would probably not want to step inside his museum.
Right.
But obviously people flock to it. And
Just a whole bunch of alpha ghosts in there fighting it out for who's the best. Right?
it kind of makes me think of that movie 13 Ghosts, where they had all the ghosts locked in those certain kind of specially designed boxes. So what happens is something goes wrong at Zach's museum and they all get out.
Yeah.
He's just playing with fire, man.
But that's my story.
Oh, boy.
Now I have another one I'll get to, but I will let these gentlemen go before me. It's not anything haunted, but it's like a cursed film essentially.
Yeah, I have a curse set.
And when
so-
I was looking for haunted sets, this one popped up. I was like, I've never heard of this. It's fascinating. I'll tell you that in a second. But Dave, why don't you go, bro?
Okay. So I actually have two different, four different movies, but a collection of cursed sets and hauntings. The first one is around the Poltergeist series of movies. And there have been six reported deaths of actors who starred
Wow.
in either the first, second, or third film. Heather O'Rourke is probably the most famous. She was Carol Ann on in the first movie. And she unfortunately died at the age of 12 after an undiagnosed or misdiagnosed intestinal issue that doesn't usually manifest as quickly as it does. So she basically went in. The doctor said, I can't figure out what's wrong, and she died. And it was like a septic shock. So very unfortunate there.
How many of the movies was she in?
I think just the one, right? Or
No.
two?
I
Poltergeist
thought
one and
she
two?
was in two.
Yeah, I think she was in two.
Two?
Yeah.
And I think she passed away right before 2 was released.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Dominic Dunn, who played Dana in the first movie, she was strangled by an ex-boyfriend.
Oh, jeez.
Very violent
Jeez.
murder there. Will Sampson was an actor in the second movie. He actually, I'll come back to him on that part, but he died 3 years after he started the movie, or was part of the movie, of kidney failure. Julian Beck was in the second movie. He was diagnosed with cancer prior to casting, but passed away before the film was released.
Wow.
Then Richard Lawson, actually don't have in my notes which movie he was in. He almost died in a plane crash in which 27 out of 51 people died. It was a crash into the Florida Everglades. And Lou Perryman, he had a small role in the original film, and he was murdered by a recently released ex-convict with an axe. The guy was just wandering around a neighborhood, deciding to do bad, saw a car he liked. The guy was sitting in the front. Lou was sitting in his front yard, talked to him for a little bit. They ended the conversation. Lou went inside. The guy followed him in and hacked him to death.
Wow.
So pretty violent there.
I mean, I don't think I would have a conversation with a dude carrying an axe down the street.
I know. In my
No.
head, I was like, I'm hoping he didn't have it slung over his shoulder like he was going to go chop some wood.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
That's what's going on in the middle of the night. I just got some midnight chopping to do. It's all good.
That's a movie name, Midnight Chopping.
So all of these deaths are kind of interesting. But they're kind of random collection. Some are violent murders, some are just died of cancer. But everybody attributes it back to a curse that was triggered by a decision made during the first movie.
Oh, God.
In the business world, there's a saying that you can choose between cheap, fast, or quality, and you have to pick two of those. You can't get the third one.
I've heard that so many times.
Yeah. Well, apparently the producers and they decided to go with the cheap and fast route. For a scene in which there are skeletons in the pool, they didn't have time or money to commission prop skeletons.
Oh, I know this. Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
So they just got real human skeletons and
chucked them
threw them in the pool and
Oh,
then
my
tossed
God.
the actress in with
Oh, my God.
with them. And she had no idea until in the middle of it she realized this isn't a prop. And she freaked out, and they're pretty sure this set off a curse. And the curse manifested through a variety of things, weird happenings and whatnot. So the one actor that I mentioned that he died of kidney failure, Will Sampson, he actually decided to perform an exorcism on the set of the second movie. So late at night, he did this alone.
Oh, jeez.
And
Is he qualified?
apparently, I didn't find any qualifications, but
He was certified by the internet.
yeah. So he went and he did this, and the next day the cast all felt relieved. They were,
Huh.
and so they thought everything was good. But then, of course, he passed away after that, and it seems like the curse just continued.
Oh,
so it doesn't
boy.
seem like it may have been temporary relief, but it didn't actually provide.
They put a
long-term-
Band-Aid.
Yes.
I can't imagine that being let's go get a bunch of real human skeletons. Where'd they get them?
I don't know. Like,
Did they dig them up?
Right.
I know. I read one time about like Marilyn Manson. He's a creep, and he apparently they were just talking to him like on MTV or something. And he mentioned that he had bought a skeleton of like a small child, probably, I think from China or something, of course. But I was like, that's not even like Marilyn Manson is very like showy for like trying to be crazy,
right.
into that stuff. But that's just a whole new level of creep show. Like,
Right.
But like you're buying a human skeleton, like don't do that.
Right.
Like,
Right.
that's-
Yeah, I think that's a bad idea. Jeez. It's like reading Latin out loud.
What's this book with the goat and the horns? Let's read this.
So then, tying to this, on the set of Ghost,
With Patrick Swayze?
with Patrick
Yes.
Swayze, yes.
It's the sexiest set alive.
So cast members, while they were filming this, they heard a young girl laughing and climbing on the catwalks.
On the catwalks?
I get it.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't.
Right said Fred.
Right said Fred.
Yeah.
But so it was kind of freaking them out, and then they realized when they looked back that Heather O'Rourke actually filmed scenes for Happy Days on this very set, soundstage, whatever, and that while she was not, filming, she would be running around, laughing, having a good time, and climbing up those ladders and running around up top. So they're pretty sure that it was her ghost around this set that was experienced by everybody during the filming of Ghost.
Wow.
Yeah. I think she passed away like a year before Ghost
Yes.
came out.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I was waiting to see what you said about Poltergeist because I just in passing, I was looking up stuff and I saw that. I knew I'd seen like a little special thing about it before, how everybody was just like from the original cast, like there were certain members that were like, I'm never going on the set of Poltergeist again. You can make all the sequels you want. It's not going to be with me. Like they were all freaked out. And some of them, obviously some of them wanted the paycheck, but a lot of them were like, nah, thank you. I'm good.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Also crazy that Patrick Swayze, after doing movies like Roadhouse, would do like this romantic love story Ghost with the...
Say, well, it had to me more. I would do a movie with her. Like,
Yeah, I get it. He was the Swayze, he could do whatever.
he could. It was amazing.
Dude, I wonder if he haunts any sets, like the set of Roadhouse. Like if they ever remake it, like he's like, no, I'm going to haunt that.
If we ever... Well, they did remake it, didn't they?
They were in talks, right? I don't think...
I thought they were... I know that was the big talk was Ronda Rousey's going to be the bouncer. I think that was before she kept getting the crap kicked out of her.
Right.
So they were like, I guess
Never
she's
mind.
not that intimidating anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
she is, but
She's also not the best actress. So
right.
Her
Role in Expendables 3 was amazing.
Yeah, right.
Well, Rhonda listens, so the
Sorry,
opinions
Rhonda.
of the. We're just watching one of the Ultimate Fighter seasons when it was Ronda Rousey and Misha Tate.
Oh yeah.
That's on Hulu right now. We're
Right.
watching that.
I remember like seeing parts of that and going like, man, Misha Tate really got under her skin, and then I went, oh, Ronda Rousey's just super sensitive. Like,
Yeah.
It's nothing
Yeah.
to do with.
Ryan, what do you have for everybody?
So, originally, I was like, you know what would be really funny? Finding a comedy movie that was haunted. I couldn't find any.
No.
The only thing I could find remotely haunted, like or cursed or anything, was like to a comedy was the 3 Men and a Baby thing.
Okay.
Everybody knows about that, right?
Mhm.
I feel like we're getting to a generation that probably doesn't know about that.
Sure.
Right.
So just a quick thing on that is if you go back to a certain, you can just YouTube it. I'm not going to tell you like go to the 1 hour and 5 minute mark of 3 Men and a Baby, a movie you probably
Right,
never heard
right.
of. Tom Selleck's in it. He's amazing. And you watch the one scene where Ted Danson's in it, and he's talking to his mom, and they're like, she's holding this baby. They walk by a window, and they're like, if you look in the grainy VHS days, you'll see what looks kind of like a small boy just staring back.
Ugh.
It's weird. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, that is creepy. Like regardless of anything, it still looks creepy.
Right.
And it has been debunked because the rumor was a little boy that lived in that apartment where they shot the film killed himself with a shotgun.
Oh,
That was the
jeez.
whole rumor that happened because of that. Turns out that movie wasn't even filmed in an apartment. It was on a soundstage. And for some reason, I don't know if I ever really got the reason why, but it's a bunch of Ted Danson cutouts on the set because it showed him with Ted Danson with a picture of himself like dressed up and he's just standing beside a cardboard cutout of himself.
Weird.
I'm like, I don't know who does that, but apparently Ted Danson is the answer.
Right.
So that was the closest I could come to finding a comedy with a haunted set. So I went with my next movie, The Crow. That was
Okay.
the
Yeah.
early '90s action flick. Probably again, I don't know what your listener base is, but may not be familiar with that anymore. That was a 1993 action movie with Brandon Lee,
Brandon Lee.
the
Yeah.
son of
Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
Lee's. Yep.
I think it's required watching for every human.
Ah.
on the planet.
Right.
I mean, if you're into '90s action films, it's a classic.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, I saw that at the theater, and I enjoyed it so much that I took my friend, who was friend. I'm using air quotes because he was very combative about everything. In fact, we don't really talk now anymore. But we watched the movie again. I was digging it on the way out, and the whole drive home, he was like, "Why do you like that movie? You need to tell me why you think that's good. That thing sucked." And we were just arguing like, "Man, I can't believe this is how our friendship's going to end over The Crow."
Well, if the friendship dies, then the crow's going to resurrect. it.
Right.
There's a crow watching both of you right now. So, if you don't know, The Crow is Brandon Lee's biggest and last movie.
Yeah.
He was killed in one of the shooting scenes by they're not sure if it was the story is the weapons expert left for the day, like on the set that day, and I thought about it. I was like, is that just made up? Like the weapons expert just has to be gone that day, and the prop guy
Right.
had to be in charge of all the guns. But I'm like, that movie had so much shooting, like it could have been any day that this could have happened. Like the weapons expert probably just had something going on, had to go, and this just unfortunately was the day. So the prop guy didn't check the guns thoroughly, and he put the clip of dummy bullets in or blanks, whatever you want to call them, put them in the gun, but didn't clear the barrel, and it was either a bullet or a fragment of something in the barrel that was fired by the main bad guy into Brandon Lee's chest, and he died like 5 hours later.
Wow. Yeah.
So then it's the whole thing of this movie was cursed, and I was reading all about it, and there's a lot of it just looks like sloppy. When you look at it at face value, it looks like this is just a really sloppy movie production, like bad people working on it and everything. But at the same time, you go, isn't that a curse? Like you go, oh, they're just sloppy. Well, that's kind of what a curse looks like
Right.
outside.
Right.
It looks like they're just being sloppy because all kinds of accidents and everything. But I did read, and there's apparently a documentary. I tried to find it quick before we did this, but it's on YouTube, but it's on YouTube Premium. so I don't have that. Sorry.
Okay.
Who does?
But
Right.
I had it for the first season of Karate Kid, so I watched my free premium.
Get
I never
it.
got it. But it's called The Cursed, and there's apparently a whole half-an-hour documentary about it. But one of the things they said was all it said was a voicemail was left before production began with a voice just saying, "Don't film this movie, bad things will happen."
Oh God.
But they didn't say, what got me was, though, they didn't say, like, who the voicemail was left at, like a studio or a director, or it just said a voicemail was left. I was like, who? This could have been anybody. But that's the first, like, bad omen that they had. And the second one was there was a cherry picker on set with an electrician in, and while he was designing the set and getting everything ready, he was driving it, and he got stuck in a ditch. So he's in this cherry picker, and it's like stuck in this ditch, and he's on top of it trying to maneuver everything. So you have like 3 or 4 guys in a truck or whatever, like trying to get it out of this ditch. Unfortunately for him, it was close to power lines.
Oh my
Oh
God.
jeez.
And as they tilted him back up, however he had maneuvered the cherry picker to try to get it, like the right way to get it out of this ditch, he hit these power lines and just was practically dang near killed. Like he lost both ears, apparently it said.
Oh.
I don't know how electrocuted you
Like
have
his
to be.
hearing, or they just like burned off?
It just said lost both ears.
What the heck?
I don't know how electrocuted you have to be to lose both ears, but I assume it's very badly.
Right.
So
But he
that-
survived.
He survived. He survived, but I assume he wasn't living as quite the quality of life that he was before.
No.
And there was another electrician who was working like in the scaffolding above like the sets, getting stuff ready and everything. And whatever he was doing, he let an electrical wire, boom, hit the metal scaffolding he's working on.
Oh my
So
gosh.
he was severely electrocuted, survived, severely burned. Like it's like
Wow.
the Austin Powers movie on the set. He's alive but severely burned.
Baby.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then, and this is where it's like that could be sloppy work. That could be you can call it a curse, maybe not. But the next thing that happened was a hurricane ripped through half the set and destroyed it.
Oh.
Jeez.
So that one you can't say like, oh, that was a sloppy production company.
Right.
That was an act of God or
Right.
nature or curse or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
That's crazy. So those are just some of the things. And the last thing that I was like, I'm just going to bring this to modern day, how the curse of the crow is still happening today. They've been trying to reboot. They've done some sequels,
Oh,
like
boy.
Fallen Angel, I think was one of them, or something like that. There's 2 or 3 sequels to The Crow that they have done, but they've been originally. The whole thing was those movies were bombs. They didn't make any money. They sucked. And The Crow, they keep trying to let's reboot it. Like that was the original one that was a good movie. Let's reboot this thing. And they've been trying to do this since 2005.
Wow.
But everything just keeps falling apart. Like either it's finances or actors, directors keep pulling out. They don't want to do it. So finally, the last time that they were going to reboot this movie, they had it scheduled to start like casting, everything like that down the road was January of 2020.
Oh gosh.
So The Crow is responsible
For COVID?
for the coronavirus.
Oh my gosh.
I like how you brought that. Yeah. It all ties back to that phone call that do
Yeah.
not make this movie.
In
It is cursed.
1992, a phone call was made.
You think it was a time traveler?
Don't do it, man. 2020 is going to hate you.
Yeah. Hey, Hollywood, do not remake The Crow. There's no need to.
Right.
It's a
just
good
don't.
movie. It's Brandon Lee's last movie. Brandon Lee always enjoyed his movies because I was a big Bruce Lee fan.
Yeah.
And he had a couple of the names are escaping me right now, where I really enjoyed his style of martial arts. I kind of thought it was like a little bit like his father, the Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah.
So don't remake it.
And that's the other thing too. Is there's some people are saying it's the curse of the Lee family because they say the Lee family's cursed. Like all the brothers,
Yeah.
like the sons have all died. Like obviously Bruce Lee died during the filming of his, and now Brandon Lee.
Yeah, Bruce, what was he? He was like 30? He was early 30s or
Yeah,
something
he's
like
young
that?
dude.
Yeah, he was young. Too young.
He had like a headache, and then he took somebody's medication, and then he got a brain aneurysm or something.
I don't know if you watch Archer, but that's his single most biggest fear. You don't watch Archer?
Oh, yeah, in the past. But I don't remember that being his biggest fear. What,
Right.
have a brain aneurysm?
Yeah, he's like his biggest fears are like gators, crocodiles, and brain aneurysms. They're like, okay, gators and crocodiles, but
I
brain
get that,
aneurysms.
yeah.
He's like, they can happen at any time.
Well, speaking of cursed movies, I've never heard of this movie. I don't know if you guys have, but the movie It was never made, but the movie was called Atuk. A-T-U-K. Atuk. But it was based on a book. Here's the description of the book. Transplanted to Toronto from his native Baffin Island, Atuk, the poet, is an unlikely overnight success, eagerly adapting to a society steeped in pretension, bigotry, and greed. Atuk soon abandons the literary life in favor of a more lucrative and hazardous schemes. So the movie, movie rights to the book were bought up now, and they changed it to Atuk was going to New York.
Okay.
And the movie star attached to it was John Belushi. Now, we know what happened to John.
Right.
Yeah.
But here, let me have how this goes here. I'm sure you'll be able to see what's happening. All right, so John Belushi, he dies. The next person, now they're still trying to make this. So that was he OD'd in 1982 at 33. So the next person they had lined up to play Atuk was Sam Kinison.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
They had a type.
But I think he died in a car crash.
Car crash, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So then, again, they're still trying to make this movie. The next actor lined up to play Atuk, John Candy.
I knew it. I knew it. I was like, you're going through these. I was like, short, like portly guys. Like, I'm like, was it John Candy killed by this curse? Because that's just going to make me mad. I love John Candy.
All right. So when John Candy died, what was he? 43 years old. Then we have a writer, comedian, and best friend of Belushi and Kinison. He read the script. He worked on it a little bit before recommending it to his buddies. He died of cerebral hemorrhage at the age of 54.
Wow.
So the movie's they're still trying to get this made. The next actor lined up to play Atuk,
If you say it, I'm going to be so mad.
Chris Farley.
Gosh, dang it. It's like, there's another same type of this guy that's just going to make me mad. They're my favorite actors ever.
Right. Now, Chris, he died at the age of 33. And then the Farley's friend, a former Saturday Night Live member also, he was looking at this as in a supporting role. Phil Hartman. And I don't know if you know what happened to Phil Hartman.
Jeez.
Bad things.
Bad things. Yeah, his wife shot him and then shot herself. So that's like 6 people attached to this movie passed away. And now it has kind of just been buried. Like, no one's talking about making this movie anymore.
Okay.
But I found that interesting. Like, to have so much tragedy attached to this movie. It's crazy.
Yeah, just keep going through lead actors like that. Just crazy.
Yeah. All right. What else? Is that it?
Well, I have some stuff on The Omen. I don't know if we want to go into it, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't a haunted set. This is a curse set as well. Okay. From Ranker.com. The Omen film set haunting includes death, injury, and lots of lightning bolts. After all, the creator himself warned the cast and crew that Satan wasn't going to like what they were doing. Now, the creator, his name is Robert.
Because Satan's a film critic?
Well,
2 thumbs down.
Yeah.
Robert.
2 thumbs down.
Okay. Robert Munger, he's the creator. He said, if the devil's greatest single weapon is to be invisible, and you're going to do something which is going to take away his invisibility to millions of people, he's not going to want that to happen. So, just a little interesting.
I was always into the guys of like, any news is good news.
Right. I like how it's a movie they were going to make that was going to foil the devil. Yeah. This one movie.
Right. So there was like a pack of Rottweilers that were on set during one of the scenes that I guess they were going to attack somebody or whatever. They would not stop attacking the stuntman. And even like the trainers, they were like, stop, stop, stop. They were not listening to them. I don't know how they got it to stop. Maybe they were able to break through to him, but just a weird thing. Now,
Unless the stunt guy had like beef jerky in his pocket.
that could be.
Explains so much.
Make it look realistic.
Now, lightning struck airplanes containing different cast and crew members on 3 separate occasions. Okay.
I mean, it could be like, it could be scary just flying.
Right?
With the turbulence and things,
Oh, yeah.
but to be in a plane that gets struck by lightning sounds terrifying.
Well, and I was thinking about this after. I was like, is this a common thing?
I
Do
hope
airplanes
not.
get struck by lightning often?
I'm definitely never flying.
Well, so that was a thing that was happening. There was also a small local plane that was hired to shoot some aerial shots. Now, another group came in and actually made a better offer, so they decided to go with that group versus the film. And the plane flew into a flock of birds when it took off.
Oof.
And it crashed through a fence and into a car.
Sounds like the movie went with the quicker, cheaper option.
Yeah.
The amount of people that died varies depending on like who's talking about it and how big they want to make this. But so I think some people died. But there was issues with the NRA in England, in London. They were doing some stuff at that time too, and there were situations they were in hotels or rooms. And they probably should have been hurt by the blast, but they weren't. Just weird. I'm going to finish with this, though. So, John Richardson, he helped with the special effects on the film. He was on location in Holland for another film after they were done with The Omen. He was with his wife, Liz Moore. She's also in special effects. They were driving down an empty road at night. They ended up hitting another car head-on. Richard was knocked unconscious, but unfortunately, his wife was decapitated.
Jeez.
Yeah. I guess one of the front wheels tore through the floor and it hit her.
Wow.
Yeah. Weird.
Build your cars better, Europe.
So that was weird, but the movie apparently had a scene. I haven't seen The Omen in a very long time, so I can't remember it, but there was a scene where one of the characters were decapitated, I guess, in the film. What is also very eerie is that there was a road sign not far away from where this collision happened. It was OMMEN, Omen, 66.6 kilometers away. Wow. Weird, right? So anyway.
Maybe Satan was a producer on that movie.
Right. Yeah.
It's just all he wanted was a producer credit.
Right, yeah. Everybody just wants a credit. He wanted to have an IMDb page.
I don't want to be invisible. I've been trying to let people know about me for years. Give me a producer credit.
Interesting. All interesting stories. And I'm sure there's a lot more.
Oh, there is.
We can only explore so much in an episode. But yeah, fascinating. Cool. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll take a break, and we got listener feedback to get to, so we'll be right back.
As a stunt pilot, you gotta have nerves, stronger than the bolts in your landing gear. You gotta run the line between brave and crazy.
He's a stunt pilot? No, he rode stunt pilot.
You gotta make sure fear isn't in the seat next to you.
Be like a stunt pilot and ride Stunt Pilot, the high-flying new coaster at Silverwood. Now open.
Oh my God. Honey, look, it's Bigfoot.
No way. Let's go say hi. Hey, Mr. Bigfoot. What you reading?
You can call me Frank, and I'm reading the Paranormal Punchers comic book.
Paranormal Punchers?
Yeah, it's about a group of podcasters that get themselves in all kinds of paranormal trouble. It's like Scooby-Doo meets the X-Files, and it's hilarious.
Sounds great. Where can we get a copy?
Just head over to paranormalpunchers.com where you can find a comic book and all kinds of merchandise.
Thanks, Mr. Bigfoot. Have a nice day.
Thanks, you too. Oh, and look out for that bear.
And we're back.
Yay.
We have a correction from the first half. Dave, hit us with that correction.
So I'm pretty sure it was said that the NRA was active in Europe during the, and I believe it was meant to be the IRA, Irish Republican Army. They were responsible for a lot of bombings and terrorist events and whatnot.
Otherwise, it'd be really suspicious. Like, why is the NRA
Right.
over in Europe?
They seem to be active but peaceful in the United States.
And Dave, you said the NRA and over there is
National Roads Association.
Okay.
which would also be a little peculiar if they were causing destruction.
Yeah.
Unless that's how they get their. We need some money to fix some roads, so let's destroy a couple roads.
all
Get
a
the
cover.
budget to fix that road.
It's all a cover for Conor McGregor.
You're right.
I have no idea if I found that on a website and I just kind of took that, or it was my own fault. Who
Or
knows?
if you were typing, there's a good chance your autocorrect would be like,
Oh, it
I
could be
think you
that
mean
too.
this.
Yeah.
Just like the one episode, the Hoff House. It
Oh my
kept
God.
correcting you to hop
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound like a bad
No.
place.
Right, yeah.
or rough.
It was-
Roof, rough.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was, but I kept saying the wrong thing.
Right.
Because when I was typing it would fix it for me.
Quote unquote.
Yeah,
fix it.
fix it.
Thinks it was
Yeah.
fixing it. Yeah. And speaking of movies, we watched The Conjuring 3 last night.
Yes.
Okay.
The Devil Made Me Do It. There's a documentary coming out next week about that whole trial,
Right.
which I'm anxious to check out. But Liz, you had something that The Conjuring reminded you. You wanted to say something.
Yes. So before the filming of any Conjuring movies, they have the set blessed by a priest.
Probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
They didn't think
Solid.
to bless the first one, but they did after because some things happen, I guess. Somebody had bruises, like they would wake up with bruises, and they were like, I don't know where that came from. And then, was it Vera? She saw digital claw marks appear on her laptop. And then these markings apparently appeared on her body shortly after wrapping up the film. Yeah.
Oh.
And then also the cast would
In,
wake.
in like 8-bit on her arm.
I don't know.
Was she playing Minecraft?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was actual claw marks on her, but it was digital claw marks on her computer.
I mean, yeah, the demon had a sense of humor and did.
Right.
Yeah. The cast would wake up between 3 and 4 a.m. every morning. And according to the real life Warrens, they said always waking up between 3 and 4 a.m., thus causing a lack of sleep, is the first step in possession.
Wasn't that in the Amityville Horror?
Yeah.
He kept waking up at like 3:15,
Yeah.
which is also, I guess, the same time that DeFeo had shot
Yeah.
his family.
What they call that, the witching hour, 3:15?
Yeah, have you ever woken up and looked at the clock and you're like, damn it, it's like 3 o'clock? Because you're like,
Well, now I will.
yeah, now that's put
I
in
mean,
your head.
I've woken up at many hours at night, but now it's just going to freak me out.
Right.
I hate when something wakes me up and I see the clock says 3. I'm like, no. Don't even think about it. Roll over, go back to sleep.
Is that when we need to go to Funk at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, we should try. Well, no, they're already scared of you.
Well, I won't be there, huh?
Okay.
My bladder usually wakes me up around 3, but
Your bladder's haunted?
it might be. I don't know. It's being a jerk right now, so.
I have to say, though, this is a weird thing. I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
And since we moved into our house,
Oh, no. Oh, no.
well,
Oh,
3
no.
years ago in January, almost every single day I am woken up around between 3 and 3:30.
Oh, my gosh.
Some days I
Dave.
can't go back to sleep. Other days I'm able to fall back asleep. But like that, I'm like, why 3? What is it about 3 a.m.?
Weird.
Weird. Next time it happens, get up, look around the house. See if there's any shadow people.
Yeah, I was going to
or
say, look for a
do
shadow
an
man.
EVP session.
Right.
Yeah, your family would be freaking out if you do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm glad, well, now that you know, but you probably hate knowing
Right.
that it's
Right.
also...
Yeah.
Well, now we can watch for signs for Dave slowly slipping into insanity.
Yeah, when I
Oh,
had...
that's definitely apparent.
When
but-
I saw the Hat Man, it was when I woke up at 3-something.
Okay. Weird.
Both times. So, again, I don't know if there's something to that
Yeah.
or not. Dave, good luck.
Yeah.
Best of luck. I'll just keep Ryan lined up to sub in.
Right.
Hopefully you're having a good time, Ryan. I know You haven't. Your podcast is on hiatus, so you miss podcasting.
I do.
And I'm glad you could join us. This is a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait till the next episode when you get listener feedback and they go like, "Hey, don't ever bring that guy on again."
Oh, our listeners wouldn't do that, right?
I'm
Right?
sure they wouldn't.
Yeah, or just throw out a pudding reference, and they'll love you.
Put his skin for the win.
There you go. Nash, I hope you're getting that construction done, buddy.
Right.
We miss you. But not really, because Ryan's here crushing
Right.
it. Kidding. Totally kidding. Now, listeners might be mad I said that. I'm just absolute joke.
Right.
Nash is
Are they-
my bro.
Do you have like two camps of listeners, like pro Nash and anti Nash, like always fighting?
No, but that would be hilarious.
Right.
No,
You need
everybody
to make
loves.
You need to make a Paranormal Punchers T-shirt with like the like you go on Instagram on the stories and you can put like a poll, like Nash anti-Nash. You just need to make a shirt that says Paranormal Punchers and it has that logo of like Nash anti-Nash and one of them's highlighted.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody loves him. Get back here soon,
Yeah.
dude. And I think he's got vacation coming up, which is great.
Right.
Everybody needs to take a vacation, so we'll probably have to call on you again.
Sweet.
Unless we actually do get feedback that says,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, please mention it. If there's people out there saying not to, that I don't care. It's not my mom.
No, actually, you would love that.
I
You would
would-
love if our listeners are like, you suck. Which they not. Our listeners are cool.
I know, they're cool.
Well, no, it's just it's to be one of those things. Well, it's not my podcast. I'm not going to take it personally. Like this probably isn't the main audience that would listen to the podcast I was with.
True story.
Yeah, true.
All right, speaking of our listeners, we got some listener feedback. Let's jump in on that. A lot of fun stuff here. First, shout out to our new Patreon members, Katie Umbrello and D. Just the letter D. Thank you for joining Patreon.
Well, thank you,
Hope
Katie.
you enjoyed oh, do you know?
Yeah, she's my lead at work.
Ah, all right. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
And does anybody know somebody with the name, just the letter D?
No,
I'm familiar with the letter D, but
It's not you, is it?
no.
Oh, yeah. Am I trying to be all crafty? I'll just use the first letter of my name. He'll never know it's me.
But thank you, D.
Thank you, D. Thank you. Yeah, we got some fun stuff going on Patreon. We got more fun stuff in the works. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
All right, we heard from Sabrina, who is also a Patreon member. Hi, guys. I'm so sad. I am all caught up on your podcast and Patreon.
Oh.
I have no idea who will keep me company while I'm working now. Anyway, I love your podcast and the dynamic you all have. I often find myself laughing out loud and getting frustrated when the phone rings and I have to pause.
Oh.
You could just ignore that phone and keep listening. I wanted to pass you one of my ghost stories. It's a little long, so I apologize in advance. I live and work in what is considered a living ghost town of the Old West.
That sounds cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Last summer, I was managing a restaurant in town that is located in the building from the 1800s. Because of COVID, we were doing a food truck style type of thing. Most of the food was prepped and cooked inside, and then we served out of a shack on a trailer in the parking lot. The food had to be carted from the kitchen to the parking lot every morning. We also serve oysters on the half shell, which requires specific shucking tools. One morning, the cook was frantic, not able to find the oyster shuckers. She swore up and down that they were taken to the dish area to be washed the night before. The dishwasher confirmed they had been washed and put away, but they were nowhere to be found. I personally went and checked that myself. During this time, the food was being taken from the kitchen to the parking lot on a rolling cart. The oyster shuckers were not on the cart either. I checked. I had to get the liquor out. Very important. I had to get the liquor out to get to the bar set up and ask the cooks to keep looking. After a while, the head cook came back, still frantic because they still had not been found. Frustrated and half joking, I told the cook to go back in there and firmly but politely ask the damn ghost to give the stupid shuckers back. She giggled, then walked off towards the restaurant. About 15 minutes later, she returns with a strange look on her face.
Oh, God.
She was holding the shuckers. The cook then explained that she did as I told her and asked the ghost for them. She had just dropped off the empty cart in the kitchen and walked to the dish area to put something away. When she turned back around, sitting on the cart, that had been being used all morning and a minute ago was completely empty were the 2 oyster shuckers.
Oh my gosh.
That's either amazing or the best practical joke I've ever heard.
I have many more mystery, ghostly stories and a couple of scary ones that I will share later. Love your show and love your virtual company. Well, thank you, Sabrina. And interesting, Ryan, similar to you. Go back in there and tell the damn ghost.
But politely. Firmly, but politely.
Right. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, like anything, if
you don't want to piss them off.
Right.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
don't yell at them.
Right.
They're probably still talking trash about you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Next time he's in here, I'm going to kick his butt.
Did you ever see that idiot with no sleeves? He is such a jerk.
But then when you show up, they're like, oh, hey, let's get out. We got something to do. We got to go.
I was going to be down here if you need me.
Everybody else, I thought you were going to kick his butt when he got here.
Let's see you slamming doors now.
Slamming doors, flushing toilets. We heard from Tim G. Hey, guys. I started listening to you in January and have almost caught up. I'm on the April 20th bonus episode now. I noticed in the Banff episode, one of you said 32 Canadian would be something like 50 American, and I thought I'd let you know that it's the other way around. 32 Canadian is about 26 U.S. right now.
Oh.
Really?
Cheaper for you guys to come up here once the border reopens. Huh?
Yeah, I thought Canadians were better dollar value than we were for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe it switched.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Looks like it switched.
Listen, if that was Nash math or Dave math.
It could have been Nash math.
Yeah.
He continues, I can't believe you guys haven't figured out what Dave is up to when he is missing from an episode. It's pretty obvious that Dave is gathering intel from the paranormal punchers and transferring it to the hollow earthers. That's why he's so quiet on set, because he's taking it all in. And then every now and then he has to relay it to the overlords of the hollow earth.
Oh, boy.
Everything from the Hat Man to Bigfoot to the Ruru. They want to know how close we are to finding out the truth. Dave is their version of Austin Powers.
That's the second Austin Powers.
That's a second, yeah. That's so weird. If I disappear shortly, it's because I figured Dave out and they have to silence me.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, great podcast and pudding skin for the win. Aww. Butterscotch pudding, by the way.
Oh.
Now, Nash can't weigh in on butterscotch, but I assume he likes it.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, Dave, what do you got to say for yourself?
I plead the fifth.
I was like, well, Ryan, hold him. Let's unmask him like a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah.
I would have got away with you weren't for your clever listeners.
We heard from Will. Hey, guys, I haven't emailed in a while, but I really haven't had any experiences to tell you guys about. But that has changed. Last night, my girlfriend and I were hanging out at my house, just laying on the trampoline stargazing. It was a bit cloudy, but there were still stars out, and when we were doing that, I noticed a weird light in the sky. It was yellow, and it appeared to be a bit bigger than an airplane in the night sky, although that might just have been because it was closer. Also, it seemed to be moving about 3 times the speed of a normal airplane, and there were no blinking lights to suggest that it was an airplane, or a helicopter, or anything. Plus, there were a few different airplanes in different parts of the sky that we used as reference. It seemed to go extremely fast, then went behind a cloud and disappeared. It was strange, and I just thought you guys might enjoy hearing about it. Keep up the good work. You guys are awesome, and you guys are still my favorite podcast.
Aww.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks. Actually, not surprised at all, Will, that you saw something in the sky. There's so much information coming out.
Oh my
now,
gosh.
Navy's capturing these Tic Tacs, and interesting. Now, Dave, I'm curious what you think, but what's so interesting about some of the stuff the Navy's coming out with, or the footage, that some of these crafts are able to just sink into the water.
Yep.
They're giving off no propulsion signals, like anything thrusters, like, our jets shoot fire out the back.
Right.
To propel them forward.
Right.
But not these. Now, that led me to think about, Dave loves Atlantis. What if that the story of Atlantis is actually true. That's
Right.
this advanced civilization, and it is under the water.
For a second, I thought you were going like, Dave loves Atlantis. Is it because he's from there?
Dave.
It's not the Hollow Earth. It's Atlantis.
Right. I plead the fifth.
So imagine like this advanced civilization, alien race that's actually in our oceans. We just can't find it because the oceans are so deep.
Right.
There's some areas we haven't explored. Now, the Navy does have, I don't know if it's out in California, I think they have an undersea, some type of base. So are they studying?
Right.
Huh.
Yeah. Or working with the aliens to create some hybrid technology.
Oh, yeah, working with the aliens. Okay,
Cause
that makes sense.
Because of Lazar, they know about Area 51.
Right.
Now they have to go undersea where no one can get to.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's interesting. I hope we keep getting more details. I feel like not everybody seems to care. You know, people are still staring at their phones, their TikTok, and whatever they're doing, and they just don't seem to, like. I think this is fascinating, and I'm waiting for like bigger and bigger news
I know.
until it's Independence Day.
When's the big release supposed to be? That's in June at some point?
Yeah, it should be coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they're coming out and saying that, yes, these are authentic videos, and yes, we have no idea what this means, is, I mean, kind of historic.
Right.
Like, they've
Right.
never, it doesn't mean that they're aliens, it could be other explanations we just haven't figured out yet. But the fact that they're actually admitting to it is,
That's
huge.
the big thing for me is like, I know that was like, I felt like that was almost like a conspiracy theory unto itself, where whenever that bill first passed and that was like tacked on, it was like they slipped it into that bill that they have to release all that. It's like, there's no way that just got swept under the rug, that we're just gonna tack this onto a bill. Like, they were okay with this.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
it would have been on that bill if they weren't okay with releasing all this crazy stuff.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I'm curious what's going to come out.
One quick possible explanation for that, though, that isn't alien related. Check for the cycles of the International Space Station. On a clear night.
Oh, not the ships submerging in water.
Right. No.
You're talking about what Will saw.
What Will saw, yes. Sorry. When you see the ISS pass overhead, it will move extremely fast. It's very bright. It's bigger than an airplane, but looks like an airplane, not blinking. And so it's really cool to see, to observe. And you can find the schedules of when it will be visible in your area. So that could be one possible explanation, which is equally as cool.
Right, yeah.
though
Yeah,
aliens
for
would be
sure.
amazing too.
Dig it. With the water, I can't stop thinking about the infamous Shag Harbor episode. You remember that was about it? They saw what they thought was an airplane, but maybe it was a ship, and it went under the water, and they never found it.
Right.
Again, like, are they not going to, when the aliens come, it will not be from outer space.
No.
It'll be from
Yeah.
the ocean space.
kind of what was the War of the Worlds, where they're already in the soil, or like it's kind of like
Yeah.
that, only now instead of the soil, it's the oceans they're going to be
All
on.
right.
Yeah.
If you ever played
In the Tom
games-
Cruise World
Right,
of Worlds.
and the core Tom Cruise one, yes.
If you ever played the video games XCOM, the first one was from outer space. The second one was Terror from the Deep.
Well, okay. Moving along here. We heard from Johnny D. Hey, guys. Howdy from Texas. My name is Johnny, and I want to let you all know that I am a huge fan.
Thanks.
I wonder if he's D. His last name starts with a D. I found your podcast on Pandora at the beginning of May 2021 and have listened to every episode.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Well, technically almost all of that. It's June 2nd, and I only have 2 left. Y'all help me with my workday. I really enjoyed listening to y'all about any paranormal subject because it feels like friends chatting over a few beers. And that's exactly what we're doing right now.
Right.
I know y'all did an episode about Cameron Park in Waco, but have you ever heard of the Marfa lights?
I think I have heard of that, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't think I delved into it.
I don't know much about the subject, but it may be an interesting topic. Anyways, keep up the lively conversations, and I'll keep listening to them. P.S. My wife and I have 2 German Shepherds, or I guess I will call them paranormal puppers, and which I hate. That's copyrighted, trademarked by me. I own the domain. And we know they can be a little dramatic. Johnny, that is so true. Mm-hmm. That is another reason we are recording in the clubhouse today, because I couldn't stand my dog today.
She's being a butt.
She was being a butt. I was like, I don't want to record inside and hear her barking all day.
What's funny is I don't know if you watch Letterkenny, but they call the beer they always drink puppers.
Yeah.
And it just makes me go like, is that just another beer you could make? Like, get Nash to homebrew a paranormal puppers.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Nash will do it for sure.
Yeah.
We heard from Soph. Hey, guys. I swear, if Mark doesn't read this, hey, guys, in his famous way, I'm going to be sad.
No.
Well, I did. For the last few months, I've been binging all your episodes from the very first one. Yes, I even made it through Shag Harbor.
Oh.
And after a little more than maybe 6 to 7 months, I am finally caught up to the present day uploads. I just listened to the Watsiko episode. I love y'all's chemistry. I love how goofy Mark and Nash are with each other. I love the sweet, soothing tone of Alicia's voice.
Oh.
I love the way Mark and Nash laugh. And of course, the ever-looming presence of the Hollow Earth overlord himself, Dave.
Wow.
Dave, man, you got a heck of a reputation.
Yeah, I know.
I had a lot to live up to. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we'll have to we got to label you something. I am 10,000% Team Pudding Skin, although I don't think I actually like eating pudding skin. LOL. I don't think anybody does.
Nash.
I'm currently in my junior year of college, about to move out of my dorm for the summer. Next year is my senior year. Oh, boy. I've had plenty, and I mean plenty of paranormal and supernatural experiences.
Ooh.
I am fairly certain I am cursed, and I have unknowingly become somewhat psychic. I have also had run-ins with the Hat Man, or shadow people, or both. I'm not sure which one. For now, I'll just tell you about my curse, and I'll save the other juicy stories for the next time I write in. I traveled a ton when I was younger. I had been to all 7 continents by the age of 13.
Wow.
I went on an Antarctic cruise, and most of the states by age of 15. My dad was very insistent on my brother and I experiencing life in different places. I started noticing that every time I would leave a travel destination, something horrific or terrible would happen in the place I had just traveled to. Some examples. 2009, Japan. Hikers go missing and are found dead on Mount Fuji 2 weeks later, after my dad, my brother, and myself had climbed Mount Fuji the same week.
Wow.
2010, Egypt. Civil war breaks out, and we barely squeezed through security to get home before war broke out.
Yikes.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Right?
2016, New Zealand. Massive earthquake hits Christchurch, New Zealand, a week after we had just been there.
Wow.
Roads torn up with pipes jutting out. Ends up impaling car windshields and collapsing housing. 2017, Manchester, London. 3 to 4 weeks after I leave, the Ariana Grande concert bombing occurs.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to giggle. I'm just not an Ariana Grande fan.
It's okay.
I sincerely apologize because I giggled whenever you said Ariana Grande because any other podcast on the Ariana Grande thing would have led to a joke. I'm sorry. I'm like legit sorry. I didn't mean to.
Now I got to get my serious tone back. Yeah. 2017, Paris. I have just arrived at the San Francisco airport from France. We get a call from a concerned family member who knew we had just been at the Champs-Élysées. I'm probably not saying it right. 2 days before. They inform us that there has been a shooting at the Champs-Élysées hours prior to us landing in SF. 2017, New York. I am moving my brother into his dorm room for his first year of college. He lives 2 blocks away from the Times Square. 2 weeks later, a van full of explosives drives through a crowd of people in Times Square. So, just through those examples alone, I'm pretty sure I'm cursed. Wow. I haven't traveled anywhere in a long time, but it seemed like I carried this bad juju with me and left destruction everywhere in my wake.
Wow.
I don't want to make this one message too long. I know it's already a doozy, but I wanted to start interacting with y'all because I finally caught up with the episodes. Let me know if you guys are interested in hearing about my experiences with the Shadow People, Hatman, and having visions that I don't realize are visions.
Wow.
I have a lot of stories. I love you guys bunches. P.S. I'm a huge fan of when Nash whispers, Bamf. I feel that chaotic energy in my soul. Also, Lish, don't let the boys step on your toes. Everyone knows who the real MVP is.
Well, thank you.
So thank you so much. I don't know if you're cursed.
I want to say,
but my gosh, that's a lot of
I want to say,
crazy coincidence.
don't look at like you're cursed. I almost want to say, look at you're super lucky. You're the
True.
luckiest person alive.
Yeah,
Right?
you're taking full advantage of living life.
Yeah, you've done all these awesome things, and unfortunately they happened. But you got out. You got to do them, and you got out before anything bad happened.
Right.
Like,
Ryan's trying to make up for laughing.
I'm so sorry. I feel so bad about that.
I definitely want to hear about the Hat Man, Shadow Man experience.
Oh, for
yes.
sure.
And the visions that you don't realize are visions. I'm very, very curious.
Would love to hear all that.
Thank you so much. Hey, if anybody wants to send your paranormal experiences or just say hi or whatever, just go to paranormalpunches.com. You'll find all the ways to contact us. We would love to hear from you. All right. Awesome stuff from everybody. Thank you guys for bringing the weird stories about movie sets. This is where I would usually end it, but I have something weird that happened to us yesterday. I wouldn't call it weird. I would call it annoying, and I don't like it.
Oh.
But I want to see what you guys think of this. So Lish and I I was telling her about the Hinsdale house in New York. And I was listening to this podcast, and I'm like, man, they're getting some crazy EVPs at this place. We really should go check it out. But I said, this is a kind of a place if we check out, like, we might be really super scared, and we change from talking about the paranormal to talking about, I don't know, lifting weights, because we'd be too scared to talk about the paranormal. Like, that's how this house seems like so active. But anyway, so Lish is into it. We're talking, and she brings up her phone, and it's Facebook, and there is an ad for the Hinsdale house. Now, she wasn't searching for the Hinsdale house. I was just relaying the story. And it made me think, like, son of a gun, I've heard about this. But I just had witness it in real time. Facebook is listening through your phone. They gotta be, right? There's no other explanation. Here's a statement from Facebook. Facebook does not use your phone's microphone to inform ads or to change what you see in the news feed. Some recent articles have suggested that we must be listening to people's conversations in order to show them relevant ads.
Right.
This is not true. We show ads based on people's interest and other profile information, not what you're talking out loud about. Official statement from Facebook.
Facebook Messenger, however, definitely does do that.
You think? Yeah. Facebook doesn't. Facebook Messenger. Yeah. But I immediately went and shut the microphone off of mine, because you can look at what Facebook is using, and my microphone was green, so I turned it off. I just thought that was so weird.
It is so
Unless the Hinsdale house was beckoning us to come. So here's an ad to get a discount on our ghost hunt.
Right.
I don't know. I don't. Have you guys ever experienced, like, you're just talking about something, and all of a sudden the ads in your Facebook feed are what you just talked about, but you didn't Google anything, you didn't look up anything, you just were sitting having a beer, and you pick your phone, and you're like, oh, there's an ad for what I was just talking about.
Did you Google it or read any articles about it? From devices that were on your home Wi-Fi?
I was going to say, I will say that. Like, I've definitely had it on a different app, but they're all so connected. Like, if I was on Google or something like that, like, something would definitely show up on another app, because they're they're all connected, man.
So the conspiracy theories debunked, because on my personal computer, I had looked up the Hinsdale house.
So on my computer at work, if I look up something like, I need something from Amazon, I look it up, and then I don't know, an hour later I get on my phone and I'm on Facebook, and I'll get an ad for whatever it was I was looking up. That's weird.
So you probably have profiles linked somehow.
I must.
And it can track that way. But from here, every time you're searching, the outside internet sees you as the same location, same IP address. And it's your, what they call the device ID, or I forget what the term is. We'll just call it device ID. Those will look different based on your phone and tablet and computer and all that. But they'll track trends that say, when you search for something, chances are your device, Alicia, is going to search for the same thing. So therefore, when you looked up this thing or read this article or whatever, most likely you're probably going to look for it within X period of time. So we'll show an ad about it. It's extremely invasive. It makes a lot of assumptions. It's not necessarily nefarious, but it is not good.
What was the Social Dilemma? Like, kind of delved into that whole thing. If you ever watched that thing on Netflix, it is like, I mean, I don't want to say it's anything that I wouldn't have already guessed, but it's nice to see someone just putting it right in front of your face. Like, hey, this crazy stuff happens where they're trying to keep you on your phone. Like, that's what it is.
Yep. Yeah, I obviously nothing to do with the paranormal. I just thought it was weird, and I didn't like it. Yeah. I felt like that, Dave. That's the best word. What do you say? Invasive. Nefarious.
Yeah, right.
I like that one. I like that one too.
Yeah. And the reason they put out a message like that is because they're not using the microphone, not because they don't want to. It's because they don't need to. They have things that will work better than just even listening to your voice at this point. And so why would they even invest in that? It's not worth the effort of debunking the whole they're using the microphone for.
Okay. I still turn my microphone off.
Dave's smart.
He's so smart. Because he's from the Hollow Earth.
I wrote the outline.
Yeah.
Dave's like, I programmed that stuff like 10 years ago. Nerds, what up?
Oh, I mean, because clearly the Facebook dude, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Right.
He definitely looks like he's from the Hollow Earth. Yeah. All right. Well, interesting. You learn something all the time on Paranormal Punchers.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Ryan, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for filling in for the big guy. I'm sure he's going to miss this topic. I'm sure he would love to have talked about it, but he'll be on again. And maybe I can count on you when he goes on vacation. You want to fill in for him?
Well, I had a blast, but it's all up to your listeners.
Okay.
Let's just see what they say, lowered expectations, and go from there.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I hope you're having an awesome time. Be cool. And like we say around here, hey, do I got anything to plug? I mean, wait. No, I did. Sorry, my brain was going in 5 different directions at the same time. That's not what we say around here. I mean, sometimes, but I meant as in, we're working on our Paranormal Puppets video.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can talk about, give you more deets about that. The Bigfoot Ridge comic books, it's going strong. Ari's, penciling all the pages. Can't wait to share that with everybody.
Yeah.
Liz, is there anything else that we want to let people know is going on?
I don't think so. I mean, we have a Patreon.
Yep. Just go to our website. You'll find a link to Patreon. If you want to support the show, it helps with all the things that go into a podcast, the equipment, the hosting fees, everything like that. But if not, it's cool. It's all good. Man, I really derailed my brain by shouting out, do I got anything to plug? It messed me up. All right, let's try this one more time. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Go be awesome. And remember, if it's not weird,
it's not worth checking out.
Protect your pet this flea and tick season with Chewy. Find everything from flea collars and sprays to prescriptions that keep pests away. Chewy has what you need to keep tails wagging all season long. Save on pet prescriptions and more. Visit Chewy.com today.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
My dad used to say that.
Sure, yeah. It's from Geico.
Yeah, whenever I would ask my dad for life advice, he'd sit me down and say, son, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. And look at me now, a well-adjusted adult with a drawer full of plastic bags I'll never use.
Okay, I'm confused. Was your dad a licensed Geico agent?
Nah, he was just a real good dad.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Boom. And there it is. Wireless on the most reliable network nationwide.
That's cool. But with my wireless, I get unlimited for just $30.
Impressive. But does yours have 5G included?
Of course. And my wireless saves me $400 a year.
That's because you all have Xfinity Mobile with your internet. It's wireless so good, it keeps one-upping itself.
$30 per line per month. Taxes and fees extra. Compares pricing of top carriers. Xfinity Internet required.